Planet Earth is changing. Hotspots light up, buzzing with the energy of millions of humans. For the very first time, more of us live in cities, having left the rural world behind. As our numbers shoot up, cities are born, and others change to future-proof their growth. Many new centers are still unknown to outsiders, and some are full of mysteries and opportunities. Like Baku, capital of Azerbaijan, where mankind's most ancient rituals are giving way to cutting-edge modern architecture. Discover what makes this city unique. Unearth the secrets behind its streets, and let its ancient traditions mesmerize you. This is Hidden Cities Revealed. Baku, Azerbaijan. Perched on the shore of the Caspian Sea, this city is one of the fastest changing capitals on the planet. A natural crossroads between East and West. It was once at the heart of the Silk Road. Between Paris and Beijing, Moscow and Dubai, its position and rich oil reserves made it a world player. Andrew Evans, National Geographic's digital explorer, wanders the globe in pursuit of authentic travel experiences and shares them with the world via social media. He visited this city 12 years ago, and now he's back and ready to uncover what Baku has to offer.
It's been over 10 years since I first came to Baku, and I hardly recognize the place. It's completely changed, a whole new skyline. And that's why I've come back, to find out what's new in Baku.
From the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Old City to some of the most modern buildings on the planet, Baku's skyline has been revolutionized. At a fast pace, flamboyant new structures have risen, like the unusual Crystal Hall. Built in 2012, this iconic arena was erected in under a year to host the Eurovision Song Contest. Baku's architecture is now cutting edge and is molding a new city.
To come back and to be on the blue water of the Caspian Sea and to see Baku kind of pop up on the skyline, for me, it was a new city. It's like meeting a person that you knew as a child that is now this grown-up, that's taller and more sophisticated.
To understand one of the fastest urban transformations in the world, Andrew meets Elbay Gasimzadeh, professor of architecture and a chief architect for the city.
How would you describe the architectural style of Baku?
Bakı'nın mimarlık stilini bir sözle ifa etmək olmaz. Bugün Bakıda qədim mimarlıq nümunələri ilə bərabər high-tech stili də var, art deco da var, modern da var. Hər bir stildən var.
What are the modern influences in the contemporary buildings that we're seeing today?
21-ci əsrin son 10 il müddətində Bakıda məşhur dünya memarlarının əsərləri yaranmışdır. Burada Norman Foster'ın, Zaha Hadid'in əsərləri mövcuddur. Əlbəttə, bunlar tam müasirdir, amma o demək deyil ki, onlar bugün Bakının memarlıq simasında özlərinə məxsus yer tapmayıblar. Tapıblar, adapte olunublar və bugünün yeni müasir simasını təşkil edirlər.
Baku's commitment to push its architectural style into the future is epitomized by one building. Named after the former president, the father of the current president, the Heydar Aliyev Center is now the country's foremost cultural and intellectual base.
The Heydar Aliyev Center, right in the middle of Baku, is a beautiful and modern work of architecture. It's white, it's fluid, with lots of flowing lines, no sharp angles, and every window frames the city. It really is the best view of Baku.
Designed by renowned Iraqi-British architect Zaha Hadid, the building aims to break from the rigid and often monumental Soviet architecture.
The wonder of Zaha Hadid's masterpiece is its totality. It's both geometric and free-spirited. It's man-made, but part of the urban landscape. And it's modern, but flows with the arabesque lines of Azerbaijani tradition.
The center's 8 floors were designed to contain a museum, a gallery, a library, and a multi-purpose conference hall. It now regularly hosts top-end talent and events from all over the world.
The Heydar Aliyev Center represents the future of architecture. I feel like I'm getting to peek ahead as to what the rest of the world will look like long after I'm dead.
There's an old Azerbaijani saying, "My home is where the carpet is spread." And carpets really are one of the foundations of Azerbaijani culture, which is why I've come to Carpet Museum in Baku to learn as much as I can about carpets.
UNESCO declared some types of Azerbaijani carpets masterpieces of intangible heritage and backed the opening of this purpose-built site. Andrew meets the museum's director, Shireen Melikova.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Stepping into the Carpet Museum, you get hit on all sides with these bright, vivid colors: red, blue, black, yellow, green. It's beautiful. It's this amazing Technicolor moment.
The museum's unusual shape, like an unrolling rug, allows the carpets to be displayed along its curved walls.
So Shireen, why are carpets so important in Azerbaijan?
In carpets, we can see the genetic code of Azerbaijan people, because all our history, all our traditions, all our folklore and literature can be seen in the ornament and compositions of the carpets.
What amazes me about Azerbaijani carpets is they're not just rugs. These are books. Every single stitch, every stripe, every design tells a story of human life, memory, culture.
Azerbaijan, it's not a big country, but it's really a rich country. We have 9 from 11 climatic zones, and we can see it in carpets from different regions. They differ by its colors. The red colors, which is a symbol of fire, it's a main color in our culture. For example, this shadda, what you can see with the camels. The camel, it's a symbol of fertility, and this kind of carpet should be only on the wall and never on the floor.
The ancient art of weaving is still alive in Azerbaijan. Andrew visits Faik Ahmed, one of the city's best-known contemporary artists.
Oh, hello. Hi. Welcome.
Thanks, it's great to be here. This is beautiful.
Faik's carpet designs can be seen in exhibitions all around the world due to the way he mixes modern trends and tradition.
How many women does it take to make a rug?
So it's 5, 6. It's depending on what stage on the carpet right now.
Faik's work may be traditionally made, but his designs are unconventional and unique.
Faik, what is going on here? Explain it. Totally organized, and then it just melts.
That was a traditional carpet, very stable object and symbol, but same time it's twisted, it's changed, and it can be everything. So this part is telling exactly about rules, but when this part is absolutely chaos, so you can build anything what you want.
So you're taking tradition and twisting it.
Exactly, we can call it like that.
In a way, Faik follows all the rules of art, and he uses complementary colors, but he also distorts everything in this really crazy and wonderful way.
I love this one. You really just want to stick your hands in it.
Most of my shows, the people want to touch the works because it's carpet and you want to touch it. This work actually, one of the ideas was been created because you can put your hands inside.
Faik is a genius to take such a traditional art form, to turn it on its head, but to make it still be beautiful.
This is a hand-woven carpet.
It's all hand-woven.
Don't you think it would be easier to make this on a machine?
No, it's not possible, which is very interesting, actually. There's nothing that can replicate this kind of knots. They're machine carpets a lot, but they're not stable as these handmade carpets.
Do you feel like you're creating a new tradition?
No, I'm not thinking. But maybe I'm giving some kind of small gap. Maybe in the future, somebody will explore it more.
Faik represents a lot of the creative spirit in Baku right now. People who have such a grounding in the past, but want to try something new.
The fast-changing architecture of the city is also trying to improve its inhabitants' life. A recently developed area, the Seaside Boulevard, has become the home of an international event, the Baku Marathon. Andrew meets Leyla Aliyeva, daughter of Azerbaijan's president and vice president of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation. She promoted and took part in the first Baku Marathon in 2016.
Tell us about the Baku Marathon.
Yes.
Pretty big event.
That was incredible because it's something that unites everyone.
Is there a culture of running here?
There was not so much, but we're more sports like wrestling, judo, karate, weightlifting. But now I think running is becoming a big thing. It's something that clears out our mind.
You have runners coming from around the world. What is it that surprises visitors the first time they come to Baku?
I think first of all is the beauty of the city, because it's so different and so diverse, yeah. We have some French architecture there that was built during the 20th century oil boom. And then the old city, which is completely different. Then, of course, the new buildings like flame towers. I really do wish more people would come to it, because once they come one time, they will come all the time.
Baku's rapid growth and modernization has given rise to a fast-growing, busy city. But moving around Azerbaijan's capital is simple. A modern metro system spans the urban areas.
Even though Baku is a huge city, it's so easy to get around on the public transport system. I'm riding the metro now, and it's taking me directly into the old city.
At the center of modern Baku lies an ancient heart. The Ichari Shahar, as the old city is known, dates back to the 6th century BC. Asker Alikberov, the old city director, ensures the area remains a vibrant part of town.
Baku is a city where east meets west. It's the place where people were living for thousands of years, where they created their own culture, their own traditions. This is where everything started. This is where we feel where we're coming from.
How does the ancient city fit within modern Baku?
I find this link very natural. The slogan for Ichari Shahar is living history, which means that, yes, we are within the monument, but nevertheless, it's the place where people live, where people work, and where they're coming to have fun.
One of the area's most famous attractions is a magnificent example of 15th century architecture.
The crown jewel of Baku is the Shirvanshah Palace complex that sits at the heart of the old city. It was built by the Shirvanshah dynasty that ruled Azerbaijan for almost 700 years.
This ruling family were known as patrons of the arts, of music and poetry, and they became one of the longest reigning dynasties in the history of Azerbaijan. But one of the most ancient structures in the city is the Maiden Tower. Parts were built as far back as the 7th century. It was badly damaged in an earthquake. Now fully restored, it is home to a museum chronicling the history of Baku. This unique area attracts some remarkable residents, like painter Ali Shamsi, known locally as the Barefoot Artist. His workshop and home are in the heart of the old city.
Wow.
Вот наша мастерская, вот она вся такая. Это вот наверху Ширваншах комплекс наш. А это вот я где-то, видишь, я здесь чуть-чуть копал. И вот то, что на стене видишь, это многие вещи отсюда найдены. Старый город построен на 3 городах. 3 города.
А что вы нашли тут в том?
Вот, ой, очень много.
Отсюда?
Да. 7 век — это заварной чайник. Это чай делали, видишь?
Классно. Отсюда?
Да. Здесь очень много интересного. И чем больше копать, представляешь, здесь можно очень много.
Все эти древние вещи, которые у тебя здесь, как это соединяется с твоим искусством?
Они меня вдохновляют. Может, этот художник, его энергия как бы передается мне, я пишу вот эти картины. Это старый город, она вообще уникальна. Ее энергетика, ее все здесь, столько всего в ней. Очень многие художники как бы получают благословение из старого города.
To share his passion, Ali offers Andrew a painting class.
А теперь берем желтый, макаем, да, желтый. Не, один раз, все. Да, желтый. Не мешай. И теперь сверху, оп. Вот. Теперь снова черный. Все, давай этот. Вот
Сюда?
под ними можешь сделать. Вот, хорошо. Теперь черный больше.
Since 2016, the old city's become part of an event that no one could have foreseen 1,000 years ago. A race where speeds on track exceed the 360 kilometers per hour mark, making Baku City Formula One circuit the fastest street circuit in the world. Andrew meets Arif Rahimov, Executive Director of Baku City Circuit.
Tell me about the preparations for the race in Baku.
Basically, we have to build the track from scratch every year and then dismantle it completely right after the race. So it takes about 3.5 months to build the whole circuit because there is nothing permanent. It takes a long time to do so.
What's unique about the circuit in Baku?
It's a city circuit. There aren't that many city circuits on Formula One calendar. And we have a part next to the entrance to the old city where the road is very narrow. It's less than 8 meters, which is the narrowest part of the circuit anywhere in the world. And also we have the main straight, which is quite a wide road with a lot of overtaking opportunities. I think that combination is the unique factor of Baku from the racing perspective. And the circuit represents everything that Baku is. It's the fastest circuit and the fastest growing city. And it's a beautiful race in a beautiful city.
Oil is the lifeblood of Azerbaijan, and it all began right here in Bibihebat, where wells drilled in the mid-1800s sparked one of the world's first major oil booms.
By the 1900s, Azerbaijan was producing half of the world's oil supply. The industrial exploitation made possible by the invention of the first mechanized drills. From the outset of World War II, Baku provided a majority of the oil and fuel for the Soviet army, and thus it became one of Hitler's main targets during the war. Despite these challenges, oil remains at the heart of the country's economy. To understand why, Andrew meets author Graham Wilson. A fellow of the Royal Geographical Society, he's been a regular visitor to Baku for the past 10 years and has written several books on the country and its leaders.
What role does oil play in the transformation of Baku?
In 1994, the country was still in free fall. The president at that time signed a deal which was known as the contract of the century with 13 major oil firms, and they brought the investment into the oil fields. And there was a production sharing agreement, and that immediately brought funds back into the country.
Back at the beginning of the 20th century, the Nobels and the Rothschilds were also making their fortunes from Azerbaijani oil. But by 1920, 2 years after the First World War, Azerbaijan became part of the Soviet Union, providing essential oil supplies to the socialist superstate. Only in 1991 did the country regain its full independence.
For one brief moment in time, just after the First World War, Azerbaijan was independent for 23 months. It was a secular state. It had a parliamentary democracy. There was suffrage for women just before the Soviet Union rolled into town. And the old Azerbaijan flag was wrapped up and hidden under people's beds for 70 years. And suddenly, in 1991, Azerbaijan was free again. So they pulled the flag out from underneath the bed and it was suddenly all over the city. And that has a lot to do with who the Azeris are today. They're happy to be independent. They're happy to be in isolation, that they've built this country from nothing.
Azerbaijan's rich natural resources didn't just shape the country's recent history. As far back as the 7th century, an area of natural burning gas vents brought visitors from all over the region.
I've come to Ateshka Temple, and Ateshka means throne of fire in the ancient Persian language. The Zoroastrians worshipped here, and their religion is based in the 4 elements, one of which is fire. Fire has a purifying quality to it, and for that reason, this place has been a holy site for thousands of years. You've had Hindus coming all the way from India, Christians coming from the West, and meeting here in Azerbaijan, the land of fire.
Zoroastrianism is the world's oldest monotheistic religion. Now practiced only by a small group of devotees worldwide, its teachings influenced Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Ateshka Fire Temple is a sacred place. You feel it immediately when you enter those walls. The flame attracts you.
In the 19th century, the opening of a nearby oil refinery caused the natural fires to extinguish. But in 1975, the site was reopened, and 15,000 visitors now come here every year.
To see that so many religious traditions and understandings of spirituality have come out of this place, out of Azerbaijan, is astounding.
Azerbaijan's historic role as a melting pot of religion and cultures is still apparent today. Interfaith relations here are strong. Synagogues, mosques, and churches share the city in harmony.
As a visitor, what moved me most was to visit a house of worship for all 3 of the main monotheistic religions in the world, and to feel an equal sense of reverence and spirituality and tolerance. Baku has this respect for a different way of life, and when you read about the history of Baku, you understand that these communities, Christian, Jewish, and Muslims, have lived together in peace and harmony for centuries. We can all learn something from Baku.
A vibrant country with an ancient heart, Azerbaijan treasures its traditions. Amongst them is a sport that celebrates the horse riding skills once needed to survive on this land, Chovgan.
Chovgan is beautiful and brutal at the same time. To see people move a horse in that way is incredible. It's all in the wrist, it's all in how you maneuver your horse, an incredible amount of balance and technique. Chovgan is an intense sport. You can see how sweaty these athletes are, the horses themselves, but it's such an exciting sport to watch. Chovgan is the ancient cousin of polo. And this particular horse, the Karabakh horse, is the national symbol of Azerbaijan. They're known for being very strong and muscly, for having incredible endurance. There's even a legend that Napoleon got a Karabakh horse to guide him through the Alps because they're such strong mountain horses.
From traditional sports to modern ones, Azerbaijan is investing heavily in sports facilities to encourage young athletes.
Baku places a big emphasis on sports, which is why I've come to the National Gymnastics Arena to meet the next generation of Azerbaijan's athletes.
The gymnastics training center is massive. I don't think I've ever been in a building that big before.
Andrew is meeting rhythmic gymnastics Olympian and first European Games silver medalist, Marina Durunda. She's promised to teach him some moves.
Let's kick it up to the next level. This is the baby stuff.
I've watched rhythmic gymnastics in the Olympics and not really paid it too much mind, but when you have to try it yourself and you see the physical discipline that's required, I think most humans would find it extremely challenging.
And you always know exactly where the ball's gonna go?
You have to know. It's more professional.
I want to be more professional.
Yes.
Okay.
Up, yeah, touch it.
Rhythmic gymnastics is hard. It's really hard. The amount of balance that's involved, the strength that you need in your wrists and in your ankles.
Yes.
Pick a sport. I think rhythmic gymnastics is the most focused sport I've ever witnessed.
You have to feel where it goes. Yeah, better. Right, and then to the left.
How old were you when you learned how to do that?
4.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen a more focused bunch than the athletes who are training in rhythmic gymnastics. I feel like the Gymnastics Training Center is almost a laboratory of science, where they're studying physics and the human body and how they interact.
With over 40 Olympic medals to its name, Azerbaijan takes sports seriously.
Whenever we have competitions here in Baku, I feel a great responsibility because there is the whole gym here and they're shouting your name and you feel good but nervous, very nervous. Also here in the gym there are small girls training and I feel like they want to learn something from me, they listen to what I say to them and it's a dream to be an idol for someone, like I have an idol in sport.
I think I would make a fantastic rhythmic gymnast. I don't have any rhythm, and Marina said with another 20 years of practice, I might be able to catch the ball.
I'm worn out, I'm exhausted. It's hard work. How do you do this? You do this 4 hours every morning?
4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the evening.
So when do I get a break?
I think for the first time it's enough.
After a hard day's work, Baku offers a very traditional way to relax.
Something that hasn't changed in Baku is the hammam. People have been coming to these public baths for hundreds of years, and now it's my turn to give it a go. Salam.
Stepping into the hammam feels like going back in time. I feel privileged to be entering a tradition that is much older than many of the countries on Earth.
I'm going to change into my fita, my bath towel, and then head into the sauna.
Stepping into the hammam also hits you with so many different senses. You smell the steam, the fragrance of all the herbs that they're using, the cleanliness of the soap. It's a very clean place. So there's a little kind of twinge of excitement that this is a special place where special things happen.
The cleansing ritual, which dates back to the spread of the Islamic tradition in the region, starts with a shower, followed by a first skin scrub.
So this is a little bit painful. He's scraping me with a very hard brush. It feels like being scratched by a cat all over.
This ancient practice aims to remove all impurities from the body. This requires several steps, including jumping into a freezing plunge pool.
When I saw some of the people who work in the hammam, I got a little bit scared because these are tough people and they beat people up for a living. I almost felt like it was a gang initiation.
It's like being beat up and reborn. Hot, cold, beat, oak, everything. I mean, it's awesome. It's hell and it's awesome at the same time.
A final exfoliating massage completes the process.
I've never felt cleaner in my life. I feel clean on the outside and the inside, and it also just clears your head and you feel newborn. totally blissed out right now. But first, he's wrapping me up like a baby. The hammam is such a pleasant tradition. This is really about community. It's where friends gather together. After you're done bathing and cleaning, you come here, have a drink of tea, have a beer, eat delicious food. And really, it's just about chilling out. Hammam is where Baku hangs out.
Baku is trying to reinvent itself as a destination for international events, such as the Eurovision Song Contest, the first European Games, and the Formula One Grand Prix. But before this fame, it was known for one thing: oil. It brought incredible wealth to Azerbaijan, nurturing a vibrant culture. At the root of it all is Baku's geology, rich with petroleum and natural gases.
Azerbaijan's petroleum landscape is not just about oil. These great forces of nature also form these mud volcanoes. The biggest surprise for me about these mud volcanoes is that this is just outside the city, and yet I feel like I'm on the moon. It's like a completely different planet.
Azerbaijan has more mud volcanoes than anywhere else on Earth.
I never considered that Azerbaijan is not just an oil country, but it's a country with a petroleum landscape, and that there's a whole geology attached to this place, a very special geology, and that's what makes it so rich.
These mud volcanoes contain no magma, and many are cold to the touch. While they don't erupt boiling lava, when fires occasionally start deep underground, they ignite the methane, sparking large fires.
Azerbaijan is literally the land of fire. It still is the land of fire.
Fire is at the heart of much of Baku's culture, and it is key to its culinary traditions.
Nowhere are the colors of Azerbaijan's culture more present than in the food. And so I've come to Yashil Bazaar, the green market filled with beautiful produce from all over the country, to learn from someone who can introduce me to Azerbaijani cuisine.
Andrew is meeting Sima Suleimanova, head chef at the renowned Sahil restaurant, famous for its traditional Azerbaijani dishes.
Salam.
Это из Baku?
Bəli, Azərbaycan zirə pomidor.
Zira pomidor.
Да.
I love the food in Azerbaijan, and to be able to go to the market with Simuzar and to explore what all this food means was fantastic.
Я не знаю, что это такое.
Heyva.
Heyva?
Heyva.
Можно попробовать, пожалуйста? It's like sweet and tart at the same time. Что готовить с этим?
Из нее готовят некоторые блюда, потом джем.
So, which is your favorite ingredient?
Мой самый любимый ингредиент вот этот зафран.
All of this is saffron.
Yeah.
Krasny.
Да.
So this saffron is from Baku. They grow it right here. And the reason it's so expensive is each flower only has 3 little things coming out of it. And they need to collect all of it just for this one packet. The market in Baku is not just about the food. It's about the community. It's about all of these people coming together from all over the country to this one place where everyone's selling the very best thing that they make.
From the market, straight to the restaurant's kitchen. Tradition here rules the menu, with almost everything from the pans to the ingredients sourced locally.
Biz bugün balıq sırdağı hazırlayacağıq. Kərə yağı əlavə edirik. Balığı qızartmaq üçün.
I was shocked that they don't use oil in their cooking here at all. You know, there's clarified butter, which is very much an Asian tradition.
Sonra sarımsaq, aftan.
It smells so good. Great garlic smell.
Fish, garlic, parsley, tomato.
This is the Azerbaijani ingredient, unripened grape juice, squeezed in the summer.
It was hard to keep up with the chef. She moved so quickly around the kitchen that my mind was just constantly trying to remember because I want to try to cook these things for myself at home.
Onion, after turkey,
Okay.
after queens.
Okay. And these are
Dry yellow plum.
dry yellow plum. Can I eat one? Can I taste one?
Yeah.
I feel for any chef to open up their kitchen is a gift. I felt very privileged to be in her workspace. And really, it's an art studio. The things that she's doing is magic.
I might make this at Thanksgiving next year. Different way to do turkey. You make it look so simple. You're just cutting and sticking it on there, but it's a work of art. I did the easy part, and you're doing the hard one.
The chef made it look easy, but it is in fact an art form.
Slow cooking is synonymous with Azerbaijani cuisine, but a little patience is rewarded with countless remarkable dishes.
Ta-da! Baku embodies the cuisine of every cardinal direction, north, south, east, and west, all brought together in a very artful form. Baku tastes spicy and mellow. It tastes salty and clean, and above all, it's fresh.
You know, one thing she said to me in the kitchen is that Azerbaijan cuisine doesn't need a lot of spices. She never has more than 3 spices to anything because she says the meat has such good flavor. She never wants to hide it. And it's true with this fish. She's just put a few things on there because the fish itself has such a beautiful flavor.
After a great meal, Baku has lots more to offer. The city's vibrant nightlife is reflected in its most iconic structure, the Flame Towers. 3 skyscrapers covered in over 10,000 high-powered LEDs that turn the buildings into a burning flame.
Baku never stops. When the sun goes down, the lights come on, the people go out, and the real fun begins.
Baku has a vibrant and eclectic nightlife, ranging from live music to bars and discos. The nightclubs may have little to remind visitors of the traditional culture, but the welcome is Azerbaijani through and through. The friendly locals are always ready to share their tips for the best places to have fun. Azerbaijan's culture and heritage date back to prehistoric times. Gobustan National Park reveals this land has been a home to humans for thousands of years.
The human history in Azerbaijan points back to this place, Gobustan, which means land of ravines, an open-air museum filled with petroglyphs that document an unbroken chain of human life spanning 20,000 years.
A UNESCO World Heritage Site, this park is home to over 6,000 rock engravings.
Staring at these petroglyphs is like gazing back in time, not only to the history of Azerbaijan, but of all humanity. I can't help but feel a deep sense of connection to these drawings. These are things that were created by my own ancestors tens of thousands of years ago.
The many images bear witness to how the climate has changed here, with drawings depicting animals and plants from a warmer and wetter period now gone by.
This is the gavaldash, or stone tambourine, and there are 3 of them in Gobustan. Archaeologists believe that in the Stone Age they used this maybe as a musical instrument or as a way to communicate a warning, like a Stone Age text message.
You can't go to Gobustan and not feel that you are walking on hallowed ground. It's the story of civilization. The earth looked very different back then than it does now, but Gobustan is still there. For me, I have a better understanding of my own prehistoric past having been to Gobustan.
No matter where I go in the world, I love hearing music. I hear there's a local band practicing here, so I'm gonna go check it out.
This band are playing a unique style of music known as rast, which blends jazz elements with those of traditional Azerbaijani folk music.
There's nothing more profound than the language of music, and hearing those first strains of rast, hearing that flute and the singer's voice touches something very deep within you. I loved being in that room. I loved being surrounded by it. And I loved watching how all of these instruments, ancient and modern, came together into this really, really wonderful orchestration.
The band has been rehearsing for a major gathering of Azerbaijani jazz musicians. Andrew meets music manager Rashad Gashimov to find out why rast is so popular here.
What is rast?
Rast – это один из названий азербайджанского мугама. Это музыка, которая, помимо того, что это музыка, это еще и рассказ.
What is the spirit of your music?
Ну, музыка раста, прежде всего, это, не знаю, это, наверное, скорее всего, в первую очередь, любовь к музыке. Когда я вот говорил о расте, я, естественно, думал о своем народе, об Азербайджане. Да? В Азербайджане характер души – это что? Это мир, гостеприимство. Вот когда всем хорошо, мы тогда исполняем музыку от души.
Where does mugam and jazz overlap in your music?
То есть джаз – это импровизация. Мугам – целиком и полностью импровизация. Каждый раз, когда ты исполняешь одну и ту же композицию в мугаме, всегда одинаково не получается. Получается всегда по-разному.
Why do you think rast is so popular?
Все время стараемся делать все новое. В расте, то есть в нашей группе, стиль меняется каждый раз. Мы обращаемся и к роковой музыке, и к джазовой музыке, и к фольклору, и к какой-то медитационной музыке, и к классике обязательно. Но мы стараемся их все время радовать тем, что мы всегда делаем все разнообразно.
Baku has made impressive progress in reshaping its skyline and image, with cutting-edge modern buildings and its hosting of international sporting events. Once a cultural meeting point, the city is again working towards becoming a world player, where East meets West.
Returning to Baku, I expected things to be different, but not this different. The city is transformed in a way that I could never have imagined. It's leapfrogged decades of development. There's an energy on the street. There's a movement here that I hadn't expected. There's a culture of hospitality here that is incomparable, and you feel it over and over and over again. You see the care that goes into the things they make. If it's food, if it's carpet, they want to share that with you. If I could leave any message, it would be Çok sağ ol, thank you very much, because I feel so much gratitude for Baku and the people of Baku and the unique experience I've had here.